E ala kahi kina I kahi hae hae Kulia I ka nuu I kahi na o au Kuli ke naka naka I kahi lo kahi pili na ko kako I kahi ala e kuli ke e lo kahi e ku kahi e Aloha mai kako o wano o papa ki ala welcome back E ola no ke kino I ka pono o ka ʻāina which simply means our land is who we are, so we are our land. Kealiʻi Poʻoloa, a la'au cultural practitioner from Kuli'o'o, will present and show us how to gather and prepare to make ono ʻāina tea from plants in the garden. Let's take a look.
Aloha mai kako. O ana ke Kealiʻi koʻui noa. Welcome. We are going today to talk about la'au lapa'au. And you might be wondering what la'au lapa'au means, but it actually in essence means plant medicine. So we're going to talk about today how to harvest plant medicine, some of the nutritional and health benefits of the la'au that we have chosen today to talk about, and how to prepare it. Are you guys ready? Let's get started. So the very first thing we want to talk about in la'au is how to harvest la'au. And what does that mean? Do you just go to the plant and just pick it? I don't think so. I don't think the plant would like that. So we're going to instead just talk about the process of when you go to harvest la'au. I like to really first start by grounding myself. And you, Keiki, you guys are good at this. You're good at this once we get started. We're gonna ground ourselves with a few deep breaths. Okay, we're gonna push our ha down through our feet. That's what grounds us to our ʻāina. So we're gonna hanu, ha. Can you guys do that with me? 3 times. Hanu, ha. Hanu, ha. Hanu, ha. How do you guys feel? Feel good? I feel much better. So we've got our oxygen flowing now through our feet, through our brain. And so we're gonna, at this point, I like to sort of just stop and kilo, right? What does kilo mean? Means to observe. Another very good thing you Keiki are good at. So we're going to just stay here and look around our surroundings. What's the day like? Is it sunny? Is it windy? Are there birds singing? This is called kilo, your environment. So we're gonna sort of just stop and pause and feel where we are and listen to what we hear and maybe even try to see what's not seen. And that's how we're gonna communicate with our la'au. So I hear a lot of beautiful birds and it's a gorgeous day, nani kala, beautiful and sunny, a wonderful day to be outside on the ʻāina. So I'm Makaukau. Are you guys too? Let's get started. All right. So when we're going to harvest our la'au, we're going to go to the plant that we're going to talk to and get to know. So this is part of the grounding process. This leaf right here is mamaki. Mamaki is a beautiful tree that can grow rather tall or stay as a shrub. Works well in an understory with a nice canopy over it. It brings nitrogen to the soil. It's a beautiful plant. So when I go to my mamaki tree, I sit there and I look at mamaki and I talk to mamaki. I tell her who I'm going to harvest la'au for. What's the benefits that I am hoping she can give to me so I may make tea for either myself or my ohana, my mom, my dad, or my husband and my keiki. So I love to go and just talk story. Another really wonderful way we can begin harvesting is to oli. Oli is another wonderful way to ground yourself before you are to harvest. And I have a particular oli that I really like. I was taught this oli by my Anake Kaiu, who's my boss and my mentor up at Roots Kalihi, where I work. And she taught me this oli. It's Pule Ola Lo'ihi. And this oli talks about long life, about how to have ola until you are blurry like the rat, or you are shriveled like the hala. So this particular oli always helps to really ground me in my quest for health through the la'au and the ʻāina and that connection. So we're going to oli together. Makaukau. O ka uola e ke akua, e nana mai ka umau pula pula, e ola a kaniko, a haumaka I ole, a palalau hala, a kau I ka pua ane ane e. A laila lave aku oi a'u I ke aloha ke ae. Until we meet in the realm of Wakea, may we have wonderful health and abundance of ola. And we get all of that through our ike kupuna and our la'au. And our la'au is our plant medicine. So that is one beautiful way before you harvest to oli, to center yourself, and going to ask permission from our plants and who we're going to harvest our la'au for. So as I do gather my la'au, so we'll start with our mamaki. I like to look for the most unblemished leaf. Our kupuna really strives for perfection, so we want that in our la'au. We want not what is wilted, but we want what is kind of unblemished and perfect. Another beautiful thing about la'au that another mentor of mine, Puni Jackson up at Holu ʻāina, taught me is when you harvest la'au, mamaki, you're going to often find that the leaves are already kind of wilted. And this is the perfect thing you wish to harvest, because what this is, it's all of its life essence already in here. This is where all its mana is retained. Kind of like our kupuna, right? We love our kupuna, we cherish them. So same with our older leaves. This isn't opala, we want this. We like when it's already dried on the branch, on the lala. So this way, it's kind of like a dried la'au, but it's still fresh. It still has a lot of vitality and mana and essence in it. So that's one thing when I look to harvest mamaki, I like to look for these beautiful older leaves. Then I know that I'm gonna have really good medicine. I also like to look for the berries. The berries are edible and delicious. These are also very healthy. They kind of taste a little bit like a juicy cabbage, but I like the taste. And so you have here are some ripe berries. This is what ripe berries look like. And this here on this lala is what unripe berries look like. So don't eat these or you'll learn fast, because it kind of dries out your mouth. But when they're nice and ripe, they're juicy. When they're not ripe, they're dry, and they'll make your mouth dry too. So that's no fun. And always when you are out looking on the ʻāina and you want to harvest, make sure you have an adult with you so that you don't just eat anything. Okay, make sure you know what you are putting inside your mouth. Keiki, if you're anything like my 2-year-old Kahili, we must make sure you have a makua with you when you're on the ʻāina. So here we are again with our beautiful mamaki. And can you guys say that word with me? Mamaki. Mamaki is indigenous to Hawaii. Did you know that? Isn't that so cool? There's only this plant in the whole world in Hawaii, except on the islands of Kaho'olawe and Ni'ihau. You will find mamaki on all other islands. This beautiful plant is from the nettle species, and it has an abundance of wonderful health properties. My favorite, especially with keiki, is it has a very calming effect, which is wonderful for keiki when we need you to take a nap. So love mamaki for that. It's also it's a wonderful body tonic. It lowers cholesterol. It improves your immune system. It's like a diuretic as well, which is another way of saying it. It flushes out all that bad toxins and whatnot, keeps your body strong and vital. And it also makes a beautiful dye. So if you ever know, back in the days of our kupuna, they would make a dye with the mamaki leaves, and it would be like a beautiful mauve, like a light brown color. That's definitely something we should try in the future to make together would be a dye with mamaki, but today we're gonna make a tea. Another very awesome fact about our beautiful mamaki is that it's the host plant for the Kamehameha butterfly. And that's another wonderful thing about mamaki being indigenous, is that it's the only plant found in Hawaii, and it got here by the wind, wings, or the sea. What does that mean, wind, wings, or the sea? Well, because of our isolated location, we are so special in this world that we are the most isolated landmass in the whole honua. So things got to Hawaii either on the wings of birds or in the makani across great distances, and also from the ocean, would bring seeds and whatnot into our ʻāina. And it was here that these trees were able to flourish and become this beautiful medicine that we get to enjoy today. Knowing the history and the story of mamaki makes us really appreciate just how blessed we are to be of this ʻāina and partake in their health benefits. We love you, mamaki. Okay, moving on to calamansi. This juicy, tiny little citrus comes from Southeast Asia. If you've got any Filipino family, you know that this is often in the cooking. I love calamansi. It's currently in season. When things are in season, that's when you want to use them the most. It's best to eat fruits in season, and calamansi is one of them. What I like to do with calamansi is juice it and add it to our teas, which we'll do later. And you can also put it in cooking and sauces. It has so much vitamin C that if you have a runny nose or a cough, this is what you want. More vitamin C than oranges, and it gives a lot of wonderful energy. And so I love calamansi. Next up we have on our beautiful table is lemon balm. Lemon balm, oh, if you could be here and smell this. Oh, it smells so good. It's so refreshing. You can even eat it. The leaves taste a little bit like lemons. That's why it's lemon balm. I like this on my salads. It also makes a delicious tea. If you're any parents who use essential oils and are familiar with the Melissa essential oil, that is derived from the lemon balm plant. And it's in an essential oil form, is wonderful for nerve disorders or hypertension. And if you have a lot of anxiety, this is what you want to reach for. So you know, in the crazy world, our plants are our medicine, just waiting for us to discover them and to use them when we need them the most. That's lemon balm. And then we have our wonderful ʻōlena. Who doesn't know about ʻōlena? Raise your hand. Then I'm going to tell you all about ʻōlena. ʻōlena, especially Hawaiian ʻōlena, grown in Hawaii, is very special. ʻōlena is also known as turmeric. And if you like Indian food as much as Auntie Kealiʻi does, then you're going to know that you'll see turmeric in a lot of Indian food. It's what gives the yellow color to curries. But more importantly, ʻōlena has many, many uses. Today we're going to use it in the form of a tea. But ʻōlena has been used to make dyes. It makes a beautiful yellow dye that's often used for kihe. It is used a lot in ceremony. So in ceremony, you would grate this with some vai from your wahipana, rainwater, or purified water, in like a calabash with some pa'akai. And that is how you would purify your space before ceremony. It helps to clean and sanctify that area before you were to have your ceremony. So ʻōlena is a cleaning agent. It has a lot of cleaning properties. Cleans your blood. It cleans your wahipana. So a very powerful la'au. It also is rather tasty too, and pretty. Let's look. Wow. So you see this beautiful color in here? This color comes from the compound curcumin. Curcumin is that cancer-fighting property that makes ʻōlena such a wonderful medicine. And it helps to clean the blood and helps people who may suffer from diabetes. And it's just a wonderful thing to take and eat. So we love ʻōlena. This beautiful plant is a rhizome. and it grows on the ground with beautiful leaves that come up. And when it's ready to be harvested, the leaves will lie down. Why is that? That is because all of its powerhouse is in the rhizome, and it no longer needs to give any mana to the leaves. So the leaves just gently lie down as a way to tell you now it's time to harvest. So ʻŌlena is wonderful for cough and cold. Anytime you feel that itchy throat, your sore throat, that's when you take ʻŌlena. You can juice it, and one of the more hardcore ways of taking ʻŌlena through its juice is our kupuna would put it up the nose, and that'll help dry out all of that hanabara that comes out. You know when you're sick and you've just got that runny nose? Well, if you drink ʻŌlena tea, it'll help your runny nose. So we love ʻŌlena for that reason. And then we're moving on to wapine. Yeah, so we love wapine. Wapine is another name for lemongrass. And lemongrass and mamaki go very well together. You'll often see teas made with the two, both lemongrass and wapine. Wapine is, again, wonderful for cleaning out, flushing out your system, and it helps to calm you down. It's a wonderful anti-anxiety, or when you're running around and you know you need to take a nap and calm down. Well, tell your mom or dad, make me lemongrass tea, Dad. I need to rest right now. That's what you want to drink. And it's delicious. It's really flavorful. You would be surprised at how sweet this tea is. You don't even need sugar, which you don't need at all anyways. But with lemongrass, even more so, you don't need it because it makes your tea very sweet. We'll see when we're done and we make our tea. Oh my. Here is our ginger grass. So ginger grass is in the same family as lemongrass and has a lot of the same health properties. The ends here you cut, you'll find this in a lot of Thai cuisine. It's very delicious in soups. And this is what you would cut up to put in your tea. Your leaves here, they're long and they're kind of sharp, especially in around lemongrass. So be careful. You don't want to cut your finger on these blades. They have a very sharp edge. These little blades of grass. And so that is our la'au. We have gone through each la'au, and as we've gone to each plant, we ask the plant permission to harvest. I'm going to make a tea for my ohana, for my hoa, and I want all of the medicine here to give us vitality, to give us health, strengthen our immune system and our well-being, and even more importantly, it strengthens our connection to the land. Now that we've harvested all of our la'au and we introduced our la'au, we're gonna go inside and make a tea. Come on and join us. Welcome back to our la'au lapa'au ʻāina tea making session, and we have now moved into our kitchen where we're going to prepare the la'au we were talking about earlier into a delicious ʻāina tea that the youngest of you can take up to the oldest of you. You can drink it hot, or on warm Hawaiian days like today, have it over ice as an iced tea. As always, as with anything, we want to wash our la'au. So that's what we're going to do today. We have our ʻŌlena here. We'll start with this. So I like to use a colander or a strainer. We're just going to wash all the little bugs and the dirt that may be on our ʻŌlena. A little bit of lepo isn't that bad. As we know, there's a lot of probiotics in nice, good, organic lepo. All of our la'au came from ʻŌina in the back of Kealiʻi Valley. And so you know that this was grown in some of the most healthiest, fertile soil that there is on Oahu. And I wanted to also share that I found some little mamas in our la'au. So when you see ʻŌlena that looks like this, you know this is a mama. It looks like a little beehive. This is great to plant, to grow more ʻŌlena. ʻŌlena grows very easy in our climate and can grow well in a bucket or in the ground as long as it has well-drained soil. We'll put that aside. We're going to plant that for more ʻŌlena in our future. We have washed our ʻŌlena, set this aside, and we have our lemongrass right here. We're going to make sure we wash this really well. I like to always take off the bottom leaves here. So the part you want to make the tea with for lemongrass is this bottom bulb right here. We're going to take this, we're going to cut it up. It's going to release all of the aroma and fragrance that is so delicious. Lemongrass has like a citrusy, very almost like licorice type of flavor. It's very, makes the tea very sweet. And also watch for the blade, the grass. Those little blades of grass can be very sharp. So you want to make sure when cleaning it that you don't cut yourself. But one way to kind of ensure that that doesn't happen is you can tie your lemongrass into a small little knot. And when you steep your tea later, as I'll show you, you can steep it just like this. But this sort of just helps to contain your lemongrass so that it's a little bit more manageable to deal with. Yeah. And then we can work on our bulbs in a little bit. And then we have our beautiful mamaki leaves. We talked at length about mamaki. This is very relaxing, eases anxiety, improves the function of your immune system. Circulation also improves your cholesterol and helps to strengthen your heart. Mamaki is just that magical plant medicine that really is wonderful for your kino. And one of its most wonderful properties is that it flushes out toxins, right? And what does it flush out of? It flushes out of your opu, your colon, your liver, your bladder, all the areas that you would want your toxins to come out and keep your body going strong and healthy. And that's why you want to drink mamaki. It will help with that. And then we have our lemon balm. Lemon balm is a delicious herb as well. You can make pesto with this. Is actually my favorite way to take lemon balm. This is very soothing to your nervous system, helps with anxiety and hypertension, and calm you down. This is a wonderful tea to take. And I'm just gonna take off the leaves from the stem. I like to make tea with just the leaves. The stem sometimes can be a little bitter. We're gonna wash our lemongrass leaves. And now that everything is nice and washed, put it all together. Here we go. And then we will have to clean and cut up our ʻōlena, but before we do that, let's get our water boiling. Okay, so you want to boil your water over 160 degrees. So you want it to boil. Get very hot. And our calamansi. We're gonna just juice a little bit of our calamansi and add it to our tea when it's all done. And this is gonna give you that boost of vitamin C, make you strengthen your immune system even more, complements all of the la'au that we're making today. All of this works very well with each other. They're like cousins that have known each other since birth and have a lot of love for one another. That's our la'au. Okay, and so we're gonna turn on to high, so we want it to boil. What we're gonna do is prepare our la'au. We're not gonna put our la'au in the boiling water. I don't think they're gonna like that. I think that might be a little too hot, especially for our mamaki. We're gonna let it boil, and when it's done, we'll put off the heat, put all of our la'au into the hot water to let it steep. And when it's ready to go, we will use our strainer to strain out the tea, so in case there's any little bits in there, we won't have that floating in our tea. All right, now that we have washed our la'au and it's all pretty, we've got our mamaki and lemongrass ready to go. Have our hot water is boiling for us to steep, and now we're gonna clean our la'au, our ʻōlena. So we have our ʻōlena here, And you can put the ʻōlena into your tea with the skin still on. The skin also has nutrients in it as well. But for sometimes what that can also happen though is you'll have little floaties in your tea. It's not that bad. But if you rather have it a little cleaner, you can just take a peeler or the back end of a spoon and just take off the skin on your ʻōlena. You might be very careful when working with ʻōlena because, as I mentioned before, ʻōlena is used as a dye, and so it can stain your hands and your clothing if you're not careful. I don't mind my hands all stained yellow. I think it smells good, and it's fun. It's fun to have a yellow stained hand from cutting ʻōlena. So you see, I just kind of just take off the skin with the peeler, and that's one way to prepare your ʻōlena. But the skin has a lot of nutrients in it, so we're gonna do a little bit of half-half, just to show you can clean your ʻōlena, and also you can just put it into your tea with the skin on it still. When you are ready to drink your tea, then just use a strainer and strain out the little bits, because that works as well. So you just cut it up into little cubes. This is one very easy way to get ʻōlena into your body, is through teas. Another very fun way, especially as us in Hawaii, we love our rice. You can grate some fresh ʻōlena on your rice and use that before you cook your rice, and then you'll have ʻōlena rice. And it's delicious. You don't really even taste the ʻōlena, but it's there. And you're getting all of that anti-inflammatory, blood cleaning properties, strengthening your kino, and you're just getting stronger and stronger. And when it comes to our lahui, we must be strong. It is our kuleana. And now we have our ʻōlena ready, and we have our mamaki and lemongrass ready. Next, we're gonna just take our calamansi. This is gonna be the last step. We're going to juice our calamansi and add it in. And this little pop of citrus, it can be a little tart, a little bitter, but the lemongrass will sweeten it out, and it'll make it very well balanced. And you're getting a lot of immunity fighting properties into your ʻāina tea. This is a lot more delicious than some of that over-the-counter medication. Instead, you can just go to your mala and harvest your calamansi, harvest your ʻōlena. Very easy things to grow in pots. And then you have your medicine readily available. So it's very important to take your la'au, because when you drink medicine from the land, you're drinking the health of the land. And if the land is healthy, you are healthy. So we want to make sure to always malama our ʻāina. As we malama our ʻāina, we malama ourselves. And we keep that connection, yeah? That very vital, important connection to the land, and to all the generations to come will have the same bountiful abundance of health as we do. Yeah. Okay, so now we've got our calamansi juice going. Our water is just beginning to boil. Now we have a lot of oka left over from our ʻāina tea. If possible, it's best that you take your oka out to your ʻāina and you mahalo. Put it under a tree. Put it in compost if you have it. That's the best solution. But we don't want to just throw it away. There's still a lot of mana in what we're not going to consume. So we want to treat that with respect and just give it back to the ʻāina and tell the ʻāina mahalo. Yeah? We're so thankful for the abundance of health that our land gives us here in Hawaii. And us as Kanaka, that is our kuleana to malama that responsibility and that connection to land, so that when you guys are my age, you still have the same abundance. Okay. All right, I think our water is just about ready. Okay, so we're going to turn off the heat, and as it's nice and boiling, we're gonna steep our tea. the fresh is best. As always, if you can source your la'au fresh and just put in this beautiful abundance of leaves into your tea. And then we're gonna just cut our lemongrass just like this, and just kind of just cut a little into the bowl. And now it's just ready to go into our hot water, just like this. Okay. A lot of kupuna, I would hear stories about how they would, growing up, always drink mamaki tea, always eating olena, always drinking olena tea. So our kupuna were strong, very tall. They had great teeth and strong bones. And so we want to be like our kupuna and be strong. So that's why we do as they do as they did. Yeah. So we're going to just let this steep. We'd like to do this for 15 minutes. This also allows the water to cool down a little bit. And now all of our la'au are getting to know each other very well. We're gonna cover it because that will help the process go faster. But you wanna steep for it the most 15 minutes. That way it has time to get to know each other and get really nice and dark and get to know one another and make a delicious tea. Now I'm double checking our la'au, and as you see, it's getting this really beautiful golden color. We want to let the mamaki steep a little bit because the mamaki is going to give it a rich red color. And oh, I wish you could smell this keiki. It smells so good. The lemongrass really gives off a woodsy, citrusy, very delicious smell. The taste is so sweet. This is a really nice tea. Now we have finally waited 15 minutes and our tea is at the color we want and the water has cooled a little bit. So now it's the perfect time to strain your tea so you can drink it. I really find that when you make ʻāina tea with fresh ingredients straight in the hot water, that is the very best way. But if you don't have fresh, you can always purchase dried mamaki. The only place I know that sells dried mamaki tea right now is at ʻāina. So here we go. Look at our beautiful tea color, and this is really what you want to see. So, and we're going to add a little bit of calamansi juice just to give it that extra citrus. Here we go. Not too much because it's a little tart, but there. Now you have a wonderful cup of ʻāina tea with olena, mamaki, lemongrass, lemon balm, and calamansi. So right here in this little cup, you've got a whole lot of wellness, immune fighting, inflammatory fighting, and just general well-being all in one cup. So this concludes our ʻāina tea making session. We hope that you guys take this opportunity to get la'au more into your families and consume more la'au on a daily basis. And there are many other ʻāina-based organizations out there, so seek them out. Get as much of this la'au as you can. You can also grow your own. So if you can do that, that's actually best. We want you to cultivate a connection to ʻāina, and what better way than to grow your own in your own little mala. So cheers, ahui ho. Here's my delicious cup of ʻāina tea. Ooh. So ono. Ahui ho. So one thing I did not mention is dosage. But see, with ʻāina tea, the only real negative effects you could get is if you drank gallons of this, that maybe it might upset your stomach. So I feel like it's common sense kind of thing when it comes to dosage. And of course, you're not going to give your child more than they can consume or want to consume. But it's still, I think, as far as medicine, this is better than Robitussin, in my opinion. Yeah. Here you go, Moe. Woohoo! Yeah, it tastes like Fruit Loops. Yeah. I think the calamansi adds a really nice flavor to it. Yeah, I really like that's a new addition because this recipe is time honored. I did not make it up. I was taught it. I forgot to mention that too.
E ola e ola e ola e ka ʻāina Aloha, welcome back. Papa Keala here. I hope you enjoyed Kealiʻi Poʻoloa as she presented many la'au lapa'au, medicinal herbs, and how she prepared the tea, the ʻāina tea. How awesome is that? But to really realize that we are connected to the land, and the land is who we are, as well as we are our land. The tiare. The tiare is one of this very helpful la'au lapa'au. It is believed that wherever you have a headache, you can switch the sides. If the headache is on this side, you leave it on this side. If it's on this side, you put your tiare on this side. Yeah. And it's really the smell. And then the next thing you have to understand is that the even numbers and the odd numbers. You want to use the odd numbers. What's odd numbers? Well, this is even, 1, 2, and this is 1 left out. That's the odd numbers. So on our flower, we have 7 petals. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. 7 petals. That's odd. That's like this. 3. And then you put it, as Papa has a little slightly headache over here. Talking about fever, we have the tea leaf. And we say, e ola, e ola, e ola, e ka ʻāina. We take the tea leaf, and then you see the shiny side. The shiny side, just put it on your head, and you just relax. And it extracts or pulls out all the heat from the body, the head, and it's just so relaxing. We heard about the ʻāina tea from the ʻōlena. The ʻōlena, of course, we gather all the root itself, and we can make so many things. This is our relationship with the ʻōlena. The taro, of course, our oldest sibling. Sibling is an older brother. Haloa lau kapalili and haloa naka. These are our connection, our relationship to the many plants of our land, and they will help us, as well as we should help them. And we take care. Malama, malama. Remember, it's not a hana. A hana is a work. Oh, I don't want to do it. But if we think it's a kuleana, the kuleana is, it's our responsibility. For if our plants are so strong, we will stand strong as well. If our plants are weak, then it tells us that we are weak. We are sick. So we want to make sure that we malama all our beautiful plants. Why? Because our land is who we are, and we are our land. Again, mahalo. Mahalo nui to all that is making this possible for aha keiki and our journey. This is Papa Keala. I want to say mahalo to you all. Say ahui ho until the next time. Ke aloha nui, ahui ho. Aloha.